Is this MPC the one? Well, let's talk about it in this hands-on review.
People have been making music for a long time, with sticks and with skins, with bows and with strings. Our need to create has not changed.
What is going on, guys? DJ Alpha Traptendo, and it's been a hot minute since I've owned a piece of gear from AKAI since the MPC 2000 XL. And man, am I really excited to do this MPC One review. And I pre-ordered it from Sweetwater.com and it came out on time, and I'm really happy about that because it's been a while since AKAI has delivered things right on time. So the MPC One is kind of symbolic of the beginning, and when I think about that, like I think about the MPC 60 in the early 80s when it was the new beginning of an era, even though it was aimed at rock and roll heads. And even though if the MPC 60 flopped, it was adopted by house, techno, and hip hop, and everybody was excited about that, just grabbing pieces of gear at pawn shops and stuff like that. And the MPC is where it's at right now. It pretty much grown a genre, especially hip hop. And if you think about the MPC 3000 and J Dilla and Swiss Beats are two people that I definitely want to name as far as the 3000 heads that I respect and love. And then we go and move on to the latter part of the 90s where they dropped the 2000 and 2000 XL, and that's when they parted ways with Roger Lynn over royalties. You know, the things that they're trying to do it right this time, it seems like, but let's go ahead and see if they have. So this is how the MPC One looks like. It looks really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on so you can see it. Like, the experience of this is really nice. It's a square shape. I'm gonna go ahead and measure it. That's what you hear, the measuring tape. But it looks like it's about 10.75, about 11 inches, and it is square shaped because it shares the same dimensions, both height and length. And width wise, what is it? It's 2 inches thick. Whoa, unbelievable. But other than that though, as you can see, it loads up traditional to how all the other MPCs are now, minus the fact that this is much smaller, I guess. Let's go ahead and look at the pads here. The pads are smaller here. I got a guitar pick I'm putting on there. You can see it's smaller pads, but however, the pads feel pretty decent. I'm gonna go into an empty project here. I did do a track on this, of course. I'm gonna set the sequencer here. I did have issues with working with the MPC in this form factor. It's a little different than what I remember, but other than that though, I got used to it. And shout out to AKAI for doing a great job with the Beat Academy. It really helped me out, so I highly recommend that. I have a link in the description box, or I have like at the top right of the screen something so y'all can see the Beat Academy if you're considering the MPC One. But other than that, so I have my track here. You can go to your tracks and you can continue to do different programs between those tracks, or pull up different programs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to load up a kit, and we have a Lin drum right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and load that. You actually can use the data knob and load it up, but as you can see, it's on here now. And I'm barely pressing the pads here. And there you have it. So what I can do is I can hit the main button, be right back on the track. If I want to go and press shift and grid, I can go and look at the grid and do things there. So with that, also I'm gonna go back in the main real quick, and you can turn on the metronome with this encoder right here from the Q links. There we go. Turn on metronome, and go back to grid so y'all can see it being recorded in real time. Pressing record and play start is something you might have to get used to. And I missed one part. I'm gonna do it right now. Hey. And you can overdub, of course, as you saw, and it's pretty good. for that. The other things, the functionality hasn't changed much. Of course, if you hit this magnifying glass, you can stretch it out, and you can use the pinch gesture. You have to use up and down gesture. You have to use one finger. I had to get used to that. And if you want to erase anything, you have to go to the erase and do that. I haven't found a way where you can just clearly delete anything off of here. Other things though, you have some pretty cool stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and go into track number 2, and then you can go and use the plugin here. So the plugin is a little different. When you're in chromatic mode, you have this. You can use the octaves here, or you can just go into program edit here, or from program edit you can start picking different sounds from tube synth. And you can start working with different functionalities. They do have it organized pretty nicely in here. So you have that. You also have the baseline synth, so you can pull up baseline synths and stuff like that. Baselines, my bad. And yeah, it's really cool. The actual plugins that are for this in standalone mode are made by Air Music Technology, which has done fantastic plugins that are very affordable on the PC or the MacBook that you work on or something like that. And I'll have a link in the description box to expand, and another one called Hybrid 3. They're really good, and they're really cheap too. They usually go around for like 15 bucks. But yeah, they're a really dope company. They know what they're doing, and I'm glad that they're a part of the AKAI professional ecosystem. I think they've been inducted into the music world, so that's really cool. Now we talked about some of the stuff that you can do. I mean, the functionality of these buttons, having extra buttons is really great. But what I will say, as far as these buttons go, I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate it right now and see if y'all can find out the problem that I have with all these buttons. So I just turned off my main light, and as you can see, you can't see any of the letters or anything on display anymore. And that kind of sucks. I mean, I know entry level price $700, but I really would like to be able to see in the dark when I'm making a track. And the illumination from these is a wee bit different. And it'd be nice if the words actually illuminated. But whatever the case may be, who makes beats in the dark besides me? Definitely let me know in the comments. Back to what matters here. I'm gonna go into browse. I'm gonna go ahead and go to places here. I'm gonna see if I can pull up this track. I'm in my 4 folder here. Pull up my track real quick, and you can see the full potential of what I tried to do with this beat here. So I'm gonna go in my main and press play start. So I mess with track mutes, and I think that the track mutes is pretty cool because it allows you to do stuff live. And of course you can use your pads to bring stuff in. Hey. So now you can see that this is quite capable of doing a whole bunch. It's really dope. Going back into my main here, I want to kind of cover some things here. So from this track, I'm going to go ahead and show you something here. I got a little distracted. So I'm going to go and now I'm going to access the chords because I want to show you that it does have chord progression. Now it's kind of weird. It's kind of different from what the Force is capable of doing because they have 64 pads, and I would say personally, as a Ableton Live user, I prefer to have 64 pad layout over the 4x4 or 16 pad layout here. Of course, you have note repeat. You can hit the note repeat button. It's a separate button for it, of course, and you can go through your different time signatures. You also have ARP over here, which a lot of people don't get to see often, and you can just make ARPs and stuff like that. That's something I haven't played with in melodies, and that's really cool. So let's look at the built-in interface, aka the IOs. So looking at the back of it, you see you have a master volume, and then you have your main 1/4 inch outs here, so you can plug with your studio monitors, and you also have 1/4 inch ins. I know a lot of people have said, well, where's the RCA hookup and all that? Well, there's an adapter for that I will show you in the video, so you can stop complaining. So I got these from Guitar Center just in case I would have any issues plugging it up through RCA jacks, and I highly recommend it if your turntables only have RCA jacks. This will help you out here. This will make it a 1/4 inch out so that you can put it in the 1/4 inch in of your MPC One. And you also can use the one individual port, so you can set that up when you are sampling as well. So if you have any mono synths or mono anything, you can make it mono, or you can make it stereo, of course, by using the stereo plug. But whatever the case may be, you can use one or two. And then you have a record volume right there, and then you also have CV and gates, which is a huge plus over the live, and that makes this more comparable to the X. You have MIDI out, MIDI in, you have USB out, and by the way, you can use this as an audio interface in any of your DAWs of choice, as well as a MIDI controller of any DAW of choice as well. It just doesn't make any sense because it's a standalone unit. But you also have one USB in, and that's fine, that's fair for the price point. And you have your Ableton Live Link / Ethernet cord, so you can use Ableton Live Link with other devices like your iPhone or iPad or whatever you want to do. There are ways and videos coming for that as well. And you have a grounder here, so you can ground your turntable, or at least that's what it looks like. And the power button, and of course where you have the AC power going. You have an SD card on the front, as well as a 3.5 headphone jack, and I wish they would have did a 1/4 inch jack instead of 3.5, but whatever. And for people that are wondering, it is pretty light. I don't know the actual weight from it, but it couldn't weigh more than, I guess, what, 10 pounds. So tell me how you feel about this in the comment section. I definitely want to continue the discussion from all my discussion videos. I've covered a whole bunch of AKAI gear, but just didn't want to pull the trigger on it because something just didn't seem right. And this time, they got everything right. And it seems like a lot of the errors that they have made in the past, they're just trying to fix. And the main thing that really sticks out to me is the fact that they did a Beat Academy, and that is one of the key things that I thought, hey, well, perhaps they're trying to aim more for the entry-level people, but they actually kind of opened the market for a whole bunch of other stuff altogether, because with this particular form factor, it being so compact and being what the MPC Live should have been, yeah, like they did a massive amount of improvements, adding buttons to it. The only real true flaw that I think it has is that, hey, it needs an XL version just a little bit. It doesn't even have to be bigger. I think if you add an ion battery to it, and if you add the Wi-Fi back into it, and perhaps in the future drop hype synth on this baby, just like they have on the AKAI Force, which I know they said exclusively that the AKAI Force is supposed to have hype synth. I think they should rethink that, or at least have something like a span. I mean, they're working with Air Music Technologies, and they have did a fantastic job with the sounds in there. Fantastic plugins and all that. I know the other con, a lot of people are going to argue the laptop versus the standalone machine. The laptop does more, but with limitations comes creation, and I'm all for creation and limitations, and it's not that many limitations when it comes to the MPC One. I know people want disc streaming, and I think that will be great, but how many of you guys are actually going to record songs inside of your MPC One? Now, it does make sense in the MPC X and the Force, perhaps in the Live, but I don't know about that in the One, but whatever. Do I give this the stamp of approval? AKAI, I think you earned this one. 95%. Just playing. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the full stamp. Y'all did a great job this year.